Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave and if you're new to the channel, welcome everybody. Today I'm looking at the Star Wars Titanium series Naboo Royal Cruiser released in 2008. This J-type custom diplomatic barge was first seen in Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. And now for some fun facts about this ship. It is an upgraded version of the Naboo Royal Starship, and just like its predecessor, it has no weapons whatsoever, but what it does have is a better defensive shield grid, which is awesome. Defense is key. And then it has the ability to carry about 4 N1 starfighters. In the DK cross sections of this particular ship, on the wings, there are 2 ports on each wing, and it's able to dock the tails of a Naboo starfighter. And basically, it will go into hyperspace carrying the fighters, drop out. For example, over Coruscant, the fighters will detach, and then it has a protective fleet around it, which is pretty awesome. So moving back to this miniature in regards to its size, for its length, it doesn't have a lot going for it. But check this out, with its wingspan, its width, we're looking at almost 4¼ inches wide, which is very nice. As you can see, its wingspan is very beautiful, and it's actually a very nice looking ship. So we have a lot to cover. If you're used to my channel, you should know where this is going. We're going to take a look at the mold, the paint, put on a stand, compare it to some other vessels, and then we'll be done. So let's get moving. So let's kick off this video looking at the mold. Like in all my videos, I will go over all the major sections of the item, and then we'll get a nice close-up look to see those fine details. So starting off, we have our main body, our cockpit right here. Our aft section has some stabilizer fins. Moving out on the wings, we have our engines looking good. We have some exhaust panels on the sides. You can see the thrusters are there with some blue paint, really cool. In the fronts, we have these dome sections, and those, just like the Y-wing, are sensors and stuff like that, so that's awesome. We have some minor line work on the main body, which looks very good in my opinion. And in the DK cross sections book, about here, 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 and here should be charging ports for N1 starfighters, and the tail would go into the wings, charge them up, and also carry them to wherever this baby goes. So that's pretty awesome. You can see the different shapes at the front. Very elegant. I think this came out great. You know what it reminds me of? A B-2 Spirit bomber, the stealth bomber. Really cool stuff. On the bottom, of course, we have our engines, more panel lines, 2 screws, peg port for the stand, copyright crap, of course. And then we have sections for our landing gear. All in all, very cool. The only thing I don't see is the door where everybody came out of. In the film, of course, there was a bomb in this and it exploded. Spoiler alert. And I don't see that door anywhere down here. But it should be like right about here or something like that. But regardless, a very nice piece. So now, let's get a closer look. Now, having a closer look, we'll begin with the aft section, work our way to the front, and then look at the wings and finally the underside. But in the aft section, we have these cool stabilizer fins. Looking very nice. I love the shape there. And if you think about it, it's like a teardrop. See how there's a tip right here by my finger? And then it gets wider and it sort of rounds out in the front. Really interesting. I love the organic shapes of the Naboo vessels. Regardless, we do have some nice line work. You can see how it curves up. Very nice. Rounds up here. And we get to our cockpit windows, which besides being painted a very nice black, they are each recessed in. And that is very nice. Very impressive. I like that very much. Also, we have this top fin here. And if you can tell, the raised section goes all the way down to the main body. And then it sort of blends in with the rest of the armor. And that's really neat. Very cool. Besides that, we do have some beautiful paneling or line work coming down the main body. Looking very cool. Some line work on the sides, which goes over the engines to the main body. And then it sort of curves up in the front. Very interesting. And now looking at those engines, we have some nice recess work by the sensors. Looking good. You can see that little line there. coming down the engines, we have that line continued from the main body, which goes down the wing. And that also continues up here. We have our little vents. And then right here we have our thrust nozzles. Little messy with the paint right there, but pretty cool. We got black and blue. Looking dope. Now these panel lines also continue through the sides. Looks like a flap there. That's pretty cool. Oh, very interesting. I think they did a decent job with this. And it's the same for this side. There's no real surprises. We have our recesses in the front. Panel lines coming all the way down the wing. Just like the other side. Little paint chip right here. Nothing to write home about. We have our vents and our nozzles right there. Looking really cool. And you can see how the recessed lines are really deep as well. No cheapness going on here. Went all out. Pretty cool. For the underneath, we have much more recessed lines. Looking pretty interesting. I love what they did here. Our nozzles. More line work. Of course, we got a big ugly seam line going around because of the plastic and die cast, but what do you expect? And then the recessed line continues around the sensor domes. So that's awesome. We have more recessed line work on the die cast coming down the main body, over the engines. Looking pretty good. That's the same for this side. Fantastic stuff. Both sides are, I guess you could say, equal. So I'm not going to cover them in super depth. But as you can see, some beautiful line work on there. Excellent stuff. Now for the main body underneath, we do have 2 screws, our peg port, copyright crap, some great looking line work. You can see where the landing gear is. Very nice. I think this came out great. And then the aft section, some beautiful line work there as well. Before I go, I do have to say something. I know previously in the video I said that the entry ramp was somewhere around here. I haven't seen Attack of the Clones in a while, but you know, something in my brain's telling me I'm wrong, and I believe it's back here. I think when we see this explode in the movie from the bomb, we see the ship from this angle. So my gut's telling me that I'm right, that the entry ramp is back here. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong or not. But this rectangle here is too small to be the entry ramp. It should be somewhere about right here. So I was right, it isn't molded in. But it isn't over here. I believe it's in the aft section. Regardless, a very nice vessel. And that's everything I have to say about the mold. Hopefully I covered everything. So now let's take a look at the paint. And now looking at that paint on the Titanium Series Naboo Royal Cruiser, this baby only features about 4 different colors. The first up is this beautiful silver paint on the whole body. You can see it reflects all my lights. It's really beautiful. I think they did an amazing job. The paint's all over, even on the bottom section, the aft, everything, and I love it. Now, you can see where the main body is all die cast, and then the section down here is a piece of plastic, and they really tried to match the paint, but, you know, you can't compare it to that metallic silver to a silver paint that goes on plastic. It just doesn't really match that well, but from a distance, you can't even tell, and plus, it is on the bottom of the ship, so unless somebody picks it up, they're never even going to know. Moving on from there, we do have some black paint right on the tips. Looking good, that little line there. Very nice. We also have a black for the cockpit windows. Looking very good. I think that came out great. And finally, we have blue around the aft of the engines, the thrusters, if you will. And that's pretty awesome. So that does it for all 4 colors. We have the 2 silvers, black and blue, and I think it's a magnificent job. So that does it for the mold and the paint. So now let's put this baby back on a stand compared to some other vessels, and then we'll conclude the video. And just like other Titanium Series ships, you get this cool stand, pegging in the port like so. And just like that, everybody, you are good to go. And now for a quick size comparison with the Star Wars Titanium Series Naboo Royal Cruiser seen in the center. First off, on the right hand side we have Padme's Star Skiff, which is a very cool looking Nubian vessel. And then finally on the left hand side we have the Naboo Royal Starship, a fan favorite. And you can see how they all share similar traits. They're all from the same planet, and they're very elegant looking, and I like that about these series of ships. And now for an added bonus size comparison with the Naboo Royal Cruiser seen on the right hand side. On the left, we have the Battlestar Galactica Titanium Series Cylon Raider Scar. Now, growing up, I was not a big fan of Battlestar Galactica. It just wasn't my thing at the time. But it did have a lot of beautiful looking ships, and in the next couple of months after my praxis test and everything, we're really going to be diving into the vessels of that series. So I'm really excited about that. As always, if you're interested in seeing reviews of most of the ships I showed in this video, check the links in the description below to check out my previous reviews. And that does it today for my review of the Star Wars Titanium Series Naboo Royal Cruiser released in 2008. For the mold, I love it. I think they did an amazing job. They captured the elegant design beautifully with the nice recessed lines, the engines, the recessed windows. Everything on it is a-okay in my opinion. For the paint, we do have some issues. As we saw close up, the blue is a little but regardless of that, I think they did a decent job with the black, the recessed black in the windows, and the silver for the main body is amazing. The only major drawback I can find is that the bottom of the vessel's silver doesn't really match the die-cast silver of the main body, which is a shame because it's so nicely done. It reflects light and it really looks just like it jumped off the screen. Now you can't forget it does come with that cool titanium stand that helps it blend in with the rest of the collection. And that's everything I have to say today about this J-Type custom diplomatic barge. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, and if you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday, subscribe. Again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody!